Hello, everyone. It's been a really long time since I last came on YouTube to share a talk with you. I've had a lot of technical issues with my computer. And even today, when I decided I was going to give it another try, it's taken me nearly an hour and a half to get Zoom to open and to get PowerPoint to open. And I was beginning to think that maybe I should just give up. But to be honest, I said when things like that happen to me, I always know where it's coming from, especially if it's something to do with evangelization or work I'm doing for God. I find that I get a lot of hassles coming against me, and but my will is greater than that, and I feel that it's important that I share the talk that I did on Monday last at the prayer group. So I will share my file, and then we'll see how we get there. Just bear with me a minute. I hope you can all see that. I'm going to put myself off here so that you can just listen to me and be able to concentrate on the images that I'm showing on the PowerPoint. So as you can see this picture here, it's Simon of Cyrene picking up the cross for Jesus. But when you look at the picture, you can see how Jesus is, clinging firmly to Simon. Simon was asked to carry that cross, but he didn't really want to. But yet he did. And I think that's a very brave and courageous thing to do, to put yourself second, and especially when it's to help Jesus, who at that stage was really suffering the passion and his walk to Calvary. So, as I said, this was a theme that I did on Monday last at the prayer group, and it's take up your cross. I remember 43 years ago, I was making my bed, and I heard these words in my head. It was actually take up your cross and follow me. And I felt at the time that that was quite a tall order, and I didn't like it. And I thought, I don't have the strength or the courage to carry a cross. And besides, I didn't really understand what the cross was all about, to be honest, like I do now. But anyway, those words wouldn't go away. Take up your cross and follow me. And what it made me realize at the time was that I thought that I was the only one being asked to do this. But to be honest, everyone has a cross to carry, not just me. And I think the power of the cross is amazing, because when you take up your cross, the most important thing is to follow Jesus. It's not to do with the cross as such. It's not to do with the suffering. It's to do with Jesus and being able to follow him and to help him. So as I said, everyone has a cross to carry. But what about the worldly trend? It's fashionable, isn't it, nowadays, for people to wear a cross around their neck, whether they are Christian or not. In fact, you do see a lot of non-Christians wearing crosses. And then I thought, well, wearing a cross around your neck is easy, isn't it? Anyone can wear one. It's a different story if you're being asked to carry a cross. Can you bear one? Luke 9:23 says, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. He didn't just ask his disciples to carry their cross. I do believe that he asked all of us. There are 3 actions that you need to take in order to carry a cross. the cross of Jesus Christ. And it's all contained in what I just read in Luke 9:23, which is, the first thing is you have to deny yourself. The second is you have to take up your cross daily, not once in a while, but on a daily basis. So what does it mean to take up your cross daily? Luke 9:23 tells us that. If any of you wants to be my follower, you must turn from your selfish ways, take up your cross, and follow me. And the third one is follow Jesus. And when I thought about this, following Jesus, I thought, do you know, when he was carrying that cross on his way to Calvary, there was a lot of people that actually followed him. Now, some of them would have been Christians, some of them would have been his friends, some of them might have been enemies, but they were all following the same path that Jesus was taking. So I'm asking you a question. Is following Jesus easy? And then I ask you another question. Is it easy to deny yourself? Is carrying a cross easy? No, it's not easy, is it? But listen, it wasn't easy for Jesus either. But you know what? He did it. Even the disciples decided that following Jesus was too difficult the night he was arrested. If you think of Peter, he denied him 3 times. He was perhaps ashamed, or perhaps he was scared and didn't want to be associated with him. And then what about Judas, who sold him for 30 silver pieces? Judas couldn't deny himself. The riches of the world led him astray, didn't it? He preferred to get money and to get rich rather than deny himself or acknowledge that he was a friend of Jesus. So, as I said before, everyone has a cross to carry. So the first thing is about denying yourself. Now, Jesus was clear in this, wasn't he? He didn't promise comfort. He promised quite the opposite. He said denial of self as a primary condition of discipleship. And he promised that each of us would have a cross of our own to carry. So what's the process of denial? What does it mean to deny yourself? In my mind, to deny yourself, to die to self, means to say no to self and yes to God. And the process of denial is to submit your will to God in the same way that Jesus did when he was praying in the Garden of Gethsemane, when he said, "Not my will, but yours be done." The process of denial is also heard in the Lord's Prayer when you pray, "Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven." And you can read that on Matthew 6:10. So how do you live out this prayer of denial? You live it by forgiving those that hurt you and not lashing back, not getting angry, and by praying for your enemies. The second thought that I had about taking up your cross is that there is, you have to carry the cross that God has given you. No one else can carry it for you. And we all have a different cross to carry. Peter's cross was different to John's. If Peter had asked Jesus, "Why do I have to die on a cross?" and John doesn't, I'm sure that Jesus would have replied, "That's none of your business." We often feel like that when our burdens are heavier to carry. And then we see others whose lives appear to be going smoothly. I'm sure that I'm not the only one. I've heard a lot of my friends share that with me, that their lives are not going according to plan. They've got crosses to carry, and yet they see other friends or neighbors whose lives seem to be easy. But we should never go by appearances, because I believe that everyone has one sort of a cross to carry, whatever it is. It could be health, it could be finance, it could be broken relationships, it could be anything. But we all have some form of suffering in our lives, because life is not easy. So when we feel that our burdens are heavier to carry than others, what we should remember is that Jesus said to Peter, "That's none of your business." I also felt that disciples carry their cross and make disciples, but believers don't. There is something eternal about the cross you carry. And why do you have to carry that cross? For what? Is to follow Jesus. The third thought about following Jesus comes from Matthew 14:2. When he said, "Come," he said, then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. And in Matthew 4:18-22, we can actually find the answer to, the question I asked, why follow Jesus? So I'm going to read the passage. So as I said, it was Matthew 4:18-22. As Jesus walked alongside the Galilee Sea, he saw two brothers, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew, throwing fishing nets into the sea because they were fishermen. "Come, follow me," he said, "and I'll show you how to fish for people." And right away they left their nets and followed him. Continuing on, he saw another set of brothers, James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John. They were in a boat with Zebedee, their father, repairing their nets. Jesus called them, and immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. So Peter got out of the boat, but John didn't. Why? Well, I truly believe that Peter got out of the boat because he was the first one called. He was earmarked by Jesus to lead the church, and he needed to be made strong in faith and trust. Jesus needed to see to what extent Peter was prepared to follow him. It's the same with anybody who's in leadership of any ministry in the church. Every leader has to be the first one to step out of the boat. So what motivates you to follow Jesus? Is it because of what he can give us, or because we love him and we want to do his will? We should follow Jesus because he is Lord, and not just because of what he can do for us. Jesus is also our rescuer. I love this picture where it says, "My lifeguard walks on water." Jesus is our surf guide and our rescuer in the deep water of our lives. In Jeremiah 1:8, he says this, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you and will rescue you, declares the Lord." And I thought, well, he rescued Peter, didn't he? And I do believe that he will do the same for you. Jesus is also our friend. I absolutely love that picture of Jesus. Feel that, the mercy that is gone in his eyes, the gentleness, the humility. He was just absolutely amazing and still is. When you have a friend like Jesus, you can cope with anything in your life. And when Jesus is our friend, so that you don't have to carry your cross alone. He tells us to lay down our burdens and he will help us. Tells us that in Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all you who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Jesus is also our rock. When the world around you is crumbling, Jesus is the rock on which you can stand, God says. And you can find on Psalm 82 where it says, the Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. The ultimate price. In Mark 10:45, it says, for even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many. Have you ever loved someone so much that you would be willing to do anything for them? Well, Jesus did. He paid the ultimate price and sacrifice. So I'm asking a question now. Are we willing to pay that price and sacrifice ourselves by denying ourselves, taking up our cross and following Jesus? I want to finish off this talk by asking you all to pray with me now, a lovely prayer in time of need. My exalted Lord, I turn to you in my need, and with the utmost faith in your divine power to save, please give me the grace I need to fully embrace every cross in my life with hope and faith in you. Please transform my crosses so that you will be exalted through them and so that they will become an instrument of your glory and grace. Jesus, I trust in you. Well, that's it. You have no idea how much trouble I had trying to get this talk this afternoon. It was absolutely unreal, the things that came against me, to the point that I was actually going to give up, and I thought, I'm not doing this. It's too difficult. And you know what I did? I sat downstairs because I'm trying to cook because I'm going to prayer group tonight. And I started asking God and recognizing that I needed to ask him to carry this burden, because I've got health issues as well. So I was asking him to help me. And I was saying, that the cross that he carried was really heavy, much heavier than mine, but that I did need his help. So I sought him. And within seconds, I came upstairs and the computer has sorted itself, enabling me to be able to do this talk. So I'm a living witness of prayer and seeking the Lord in prayer for anything that you want, anything, any burden, any issue that you have in your life. Just turn to God because he's there to listen to you. And just like Simon of Cyrene picked up the cross to help Jesus, I do believe that Jesus becomes that Simon of Cyrene for us and helps us to carry any cross. So I pray that the Lord will bless you all. And I want to thank you for listening. And I hope to come back again sooner rather than later, if the computer lets me. And I just command a blessing to come down on heaven, from heaven for you all and your families. And may I ask you to please subscribe to my channel, because that puts me further up on the list. And, the word gets out. And all I want to do is, it's not for me. I don't want people to be seeing me and saying, oh, there's Maria again or anything. I want people to see Jesus, the Jesus that lives in me, because I do this not for myself, but I do it for him, because people need to know about Jesus and how beautiful he is and what a lovely friend he is if you accept him into your life. So I better go before I burn the dinner. God bless you all. See you soon. Bye.